The United States of America has a rich history that dates back to the arrival of European settlers in the early 17th century. In 1607, the first permanent English colony was established in Jamestown, Virginia. Over the following centuries, waves of European immigrants, including Puritans, seeking religious freedom and indentured servants, arrived in the New World. The American Revolution, 1775-1783, marked a pivotal moment in U.S. history as 13 colonies fought for independence from British rule. The Declaration of Independence, drafted by Thomas Jefferson in 1776, proclaimed the colonies' autonomy and the birth of a new nation. The Constitutional Convention in 1787 led to the creation of the United States Constitution, providing the framework for the federal government. George Washington became the first president in 1789, setting the precedent for a peaceful transfer of power. The 19th century saw westward expansion, spurred by the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 and the concept of manifest destiny. The nation grappled with issues such as slavery, culminating in the Civil War, 1861-1865, a conflict between the Northern Union and the Southern Confederacy. The Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate-held territories. Post-Civil War, the Reconstruction era, aimed at rebuilding the South and integrating newly freed African Americans into society. The late 19th century brought industrialization, urbanization, and the rise of big business. The U.S. played a significant role in both World War I, 1914-1918, and World War II, 1939-1945, emerging as a global superpower. The post-World War II era marked the beginning of the Cold War, a geopolitical rivalry between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. Landmark legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, aimed at promoting equality. The latter part of the 20th century witnessed social and cultural changes, from the counterculture movements of the 1960s to advancements in technology and the rise of the Internet. The U.S. faced challenges such as the Vietnam War, economic recessions, and the 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001, shaping its domestic and foreign policies. Today, the United States remains a diverse nation, grappling with contemporary issues ranging from political polarization to climate change, as it continues to evolve in the 21st century. In the latter part of the 20th century, the United States experienced significant social and cultural shifts. The 1960s witnessed a surge of activism, with movements advocating for civil rights, women's rights, and opposition to the Vietnam War. The moon landing in 1969 marked a historic achievement in space exploration, reflecting American technological prowess. The 1970s brought economic challenges, including stagflation and the oil crisis. President Richard Nixon resigned amidst the Watergate scandal in 1974, leading to the only presidential resignation in U.S. history. The subsequent presidency of Jimmy Carter faced both domestic and international struggles. The 1980s saw a conservative shift under President Ronald Reagan, characterized by economic deregulation, tax cuts, and a confrontational stance toward the Soviet Union. The end of the Cold War in the late 1980s and early 1990s reshaped global dynamics, with the U.S. emerging as the sole superpower. The 1990s witnessed economic prosperity, technological advancements, and the rise of the Internet. President Bill Clinton's administration navigated issues like welfare reform and healthcare policy. However, the decade concluded with the impeachment of Clinton. The 21st century began with the controversial 2000 presidential election, ultimately decided by the Supreme Court in favor of George W. Bush. The terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, had a profound impact on U.S. foreign and domestic policies, leading to the War on Terror. The presidency of Barack Obama, beginning in 2009, marked a historic moment as he became the first African-American president. His administration focused on healthcare reform, economic recovery, and addressing climate change. The 2010s were marked by political polarization, debates over healthcare, and social issues. The election of Donald Trump in 2016 brought a populist and unconventional approach to governance, with policies emphasizing immigration control, economic nationalism, and conservative judicial appointments. The COVID-19 pandemic, starting in 2019, posed unprecedented challenges to public health and the economy. The 2020 presidential election saw Joe Biden elected as the 46th president, emphasizing unity and addressing issues such as climate change, racial justice, and the ongoing pandemic. As the United States moves forward, it continues to grapple with complex issues, both domestically and on the global stage, shaping its history in the 21st century. In the early 2020s, the United States faced a myriad of challenges, with the COVID-19 pandemic remaining a prominent issue. Efforts to vaccinate the population and mitigate the virus's impact played a crucial role in the nation's recovery. The Biden administration pursued an ambitious agenda, passing a substantial infrastructure bill and focusing on climate change initiatives. Social justice movements gained momentum, prompting discussions on police reform and systemic racism. Additionally, efforts to address immigration policy and voting rights gained prominence in the political landscape. The United States continued to grapple with global affairs, navigating relationships with other major powers and participating in international efforts to address issues like climate change and global health crises. Technological advancements and the digital age continued to reshape society, influencing communication, commerce, and education. The prevalence of social media played a significant role in shaping public discourse and activism. The United States also faced cybersecurity challenges, with incidents highlighting the vulnerability of critical infrastructure and the need for enhanced cybersecurity measures. As the nation moved further into the 21st century, ongoing debates on issues such as gun control, healthcare reform, and education policy underscored the diverse perspectives within American society. The evolving dynamics of geopolitics, the challenges posed by emerging technologies, and the ongoing pursuit of a more inclusive and equitable society continued to shape the trajectory of the United States into the second half of the 21st century.